The other thing I wanted to check was speeding ticket. There we go.
You must be desperate for leads if you're getting hung up over 6-month-old speeding tickets.
6-month-old speeding ticket, though. Speeding... There you go.
Well, I don't know. I probably had to pop out and get something, that's why I was speeding. And that wouldn't have been noted on my timesheet. But I really can't remember back to February.
February. So that's a speeding ticket ages ago. So, timesheet, job. Because she was working at a primary school, wasn't she?
Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything though. I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till.
So that's just like basic stuff.
And the glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. Yeah. Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
I wonder if we hadn't have seen and uncovered all the stuff about the affair and all that, if we'd have thought that she had an affair with Simon. Not Simon, with Eric, maybe? Let's see if there's any more under Prince, though.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind. But she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
Wow. Okay, so I was with you all the way up until the blind thing, but you didn't really end up with a prince now, did you?
Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember, well, I went over the river, and then there was a church there. Yeah. And I probably I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There.
Well, that's old school, using an old map. Let's see this one.
I don't know if anyone really changes. You just become more yourself. Simon was my prince, and that hasn't changed.
Cute. So she seems remorseful that they killed Simon. Yeah, we're missing 2 fairy tale things from this.
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it. Are any of these in colour?
What picture is that then? So she loves a bit of Rapunzel then?
Simon never cheated on me. He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other. Life isn't a fairy tale. and do what you can.
Tell you what, this actor is really quite something, isn't she? Her name is Viva, and I was going to say earlier, it's quite apt that she was playing a guitar, because she's actually in a band called Joe Gideon and the Sharks. Yeah.
Sorry, I messed it up with all that Rapunzel stuff. Do you need me to do that card again?
What card?
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
Okay, so two things I want to check out here. One is hair.
What kind of hairs?
Blonde? Or blondie? Blonde hairs?
This other person doesn't exist. I don't know what the blonde wig is, but it could be anything. Have you looked at the cat flap?
So I think they were trying to fill out the idea that he was having an affair. But I think Hannah was onto something there, saying it came from the blonde doll in the attic because that's where Eve's been hiding. Maybe?
No, they were shut. Most of the windows were really hard to open anyway. They're stifling in summer. They were painted over by my dad. Could have left a door open accidentally. Or there's a cat flap in the back door.
So the cat's gone missing?
No cat. My parents had a cat before they died called Domino. It was this little black thing with white dots. And we never did anything about the cat flap, but if you were thin, you could maybe squeeze through it.
And I've noticed we've got one right at the end here.
We loved our cat, Domino. He had this little bell around his neck to stop him from killing birds in the garden. And we used to write each other notes and put them in the bell, and we could send them to each other. Mum found some of the notes once, and she thought I was just writing to myself because our handwriting was identical. And we had our own words for things, so she didn't quite understand them anyway.
Achievement unlocked, Detective Sergeant. Wonder what that means. So I want to go for the card. Why was she looking at a card? Was it like a Rorschach card?
He has a wallet, a huge, silly thing, leather, real leather, I think. He packs it full of stuff, business cards, receipts, lottery tickets. He always carries it in his back pocket. I think that's why he's got a bad back. He offsets the discs. I haven't seen it, so he must have it on him. He always takes it out of his back pocket before, when he comes in, if he's in the house.
That hasn't really given much. Domino. Bell. Here we go.
Okay, you got me. I'll confess. We were there. It was a dirty weekend. Simon was going to expense it, pretend it was a business trip. I used a made-up name. We stayed at the hotel, had room service, didn't leave the room, had a great view of the river, and you could hear the church bells. Like you said, it was very romantic.
What was that? Was that a cheeky little holiday you went on? Now, I know you mentioned earlier that you went on to Rome, but where was your cheeky little holiday to?
And the hotel said he was there?
Where did you go? So those two clips go in order. River? No. Now, I want to go back a little bit and talk about bags. Was the bag in the cellar?
When will the police let me back in the house? And they let me take a bag of clothes with me, but
Clothes, maybe. I just want to unlock the fight. What fight was it you had?
Well, on his clothes, that would make sense. He made it by hand. I mean, he brushes the silver onto the glass. It's not how they make mirrors these days. I mean, he made the mirror and he gave it to me.
So she's definitely in love with that mirror. What are you doing there?
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
So there we go. That's what happened. So it was Hannah who did it in the end. I always knew Hannah had it in her. So I want more on that. So confession? No, I want wig. What was the wig about?
This was about 9. I went round and she was waiting for me. She was furious and so angry. The kind of anger you can only have towards yourself. We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left. No, I've never worn a wig. What kind of wig?
Well, that is technically true. Hannah never wore the wig. So that was the hair found on the body, I guess? Oh, here we go. Right, let's go to the end first.
Like I said before, it was 3, something like that. I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room. His throat had been cut. There was a lot of blood. Yeah, he was dead.
See, now I think they both genuinely loved him.
She was sat behind him. She had my wig on. And she'd been there all day. And she had blood on her. And she was in shock.
Wow. So we've almost pieced everything together here.
Okay. I've given blood before. Do you need to take that for your records?
So that's her giving a DNA sample, I guess.
Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. The blood. It's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
So if we're going for samples... or evidence... Oh, hello. Jeez, okay.
Fine. I've never had my fingerprints taken before.
So this is
I
Hannah
once put my hand in the oven.
getting her blood and her fingerprints taken.
fingerprints.
But she's already done it at that point, unless she's being told that there are fingerprints there.
Yeah. I would have cleaned them. I changed the sheets too. With the fingerprints in all those places.
What places? What places?
Could they have been my parents' fingerprints? I'm not sure how long they last for, but is that possible?
Yeah, so that goes with her saying that she was decorating for ages, doesn't it?
Really? Go on then. Take the cup. Run your fingerprints. They'll match. Fucking idiot.
So I guess that's Eve antagonising him. So there's a lot about fingerprints there. Weapon? We did mirror. And there's a lot on mirror, but I want a broken mirror? Reflection? Ah, ha 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 ha! I think this is it. We're almost there.
Yes. The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements.
So that was when she discovered she had a twin, so that's fairly early on in the final confession.
Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV. Oh, TV was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books.
So we're almost there. I can feel it. We're so close to this.
I wanted to see my reflection. I thought that if I touched her, something would happen. We would become one. One girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place.
It's such a sad story, I think. Like, it is clearly this girl has been so messed up from birth, really, that she just, she's just lost and
Sure, yes.
alone.
That would help. Will you phone the house to let me know when you want to come round? Then I can make sure that I'm there.
Do you know, knowing what we do now, these little winks and nods that she makes.
I wasn't in the house.
Knowing that there's 2 of them, you just suddenly see it.
I wasn't in the house all of Friday night. After the argument, after Simon left, I left too. I was upset and I wanted to get away. So I took the car.
One thing I want to go through, is she wearing her wedding ring here?
My name.
She looks like she is, sort
That
of.
was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works.
God, it seems like ages ago that we went through that. Let's just try lie again. Oh, here we go.
A week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.